It's your daily dose of Donna. Happy Friday. It's September 8th. We have made it to Friday, which is normally one of my favorite days of the week. It is my favorite day of the week. If you've been around as a doser for a long time, you know that Friday is my favorite day of the week. Today is not. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I'll share about it in just a moment. But I will start off by saying a couple things. For those of you that know about my monthly happy hour, we have a happy hour, a much needed happy hour tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time for any dosers who are subscribed it's called overdose tier, which just sounds so wrong when it's a happy hour, but it's an overdose subscribing tier on Patreon. It's really, really fun. We've done it a few times. I love the people that show up. Come get ready to dish, have fun, drink, hang, get to know some other people in the community. It's a really great, safe space for any dosers that want just to kind of hang out on Friday night. So more details will be below. And I normally say right around now, go and join the Facebook page. But I'm just going to bring something up really fast. So and thank you. On TikTok, they're saying that your hair looks cute. I did chop my hair. I feel fresher. I feel like it's easier to style. It was feeling really dragged down. You know that feeling when you're like, why am I trying to pretend that I am 18? And then I saw Taylor Armstrong look so stunning and I almost went bangs. I was like, should I do that? And my hairdresser's like, no, no, Donna, we're not doing bangs. Okay, we're not doing bangs. So I did chop my hair. Okay. So Facebook, I have a Facebook group called Daily Dose of Donna. I highly recommend that if you're a fan of the show, that is the point. If you're a fan of the show or of the doser community or of the kind of vibe that I bring and everyone brings, I would love for you to join the Facebook community. I am off today, if you can see, not off work. I'm working, but I am off energy wise. And those of you that are watching live just saw me cry on TikTok right before I started. And if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize for the, bloodshot eyes. I promise you it's not the Venus CBD gummies that I wish I was on right now. I'm not high. I'm just emotional. Because here's the thing. When I started this podcast, and I number one, I'm going to say one thing really fast. This is called Daily Dose of Donna. So if you're here and you're bummed that you're not immediately getting the gossip and you think I'm taking too long and I'm talking about myself, maybe this is not the show for you. If you want just the gossip, maybe go find another channel or go to page 6 and just read it. It's easier that way. It gets TikTok, fast, short form video. This is a little bit of a peek into the gossip, but also I'd like to get to know you guys. And I think that I want to get to know who I listen to on a podcast too. So I bring in personal stuff here. I want to tell you guys, for those of you that are new here, because I have thousands of new listeners this week. Okay. And thank you so much for being here. And I know why you're here, because watching the Jeff Lewis universe, Heather McDonald, Justin Martindale, has brought all of you guys here. And I'm being really, really, really clear that I am not unaware of that. Okay. I am not thinking that you guys just magically appeared out of thin air. I talk about all kinds of things, not just them, but I do talk about Jeff Lewis a lot. And if you go back to my show from the beginning, I've been talking about Jeff Lewis and guests that he has on his show and interviews that he has that I just think are so interesting and funny for many, many months. Okay. And then Heather McDonald, of course, came up with the Meghan argument a few months ago and then in the last few weeks. Okay. What I never really expected, by not speaking from personal experience, but speaking about people that are feuding in public, on their own podcasts out there, right? I'm not going into their home and opening their drawer and reading their diaries. I'm speaking about what is in the public, right? It's public knowledge, but I'm speaking. I'm not a troll. I'm not hiding behind a keyboard. I'm not, username dog earring boob on Reddit. I'm not. I'm Donna Bowling. You see me. I am here. You can see me on social media. I'm not hiding. I'm being really open and honest and transparent about who I am and my feelings. That is brave. For anyone out there that is thinking about podcasting, about anything, that has an opinion, just know this is not easy. Because the second you have an opinion, people hate your opinion. There's always going to be someone that hates your opinion, right? And I've truly seen this time and time again. I mean, I spoke about Scandival, and I got, shockingly, I got a lot of hate for that. Bethany definitely got hate for that, but no hate have I ever gotten for anyone more than when I mentioned the words Heather McDonald. And I don't know what it is about this community that comes for the jugular. Like, did I say that right? Comes for the jugular. It's unreal. Okay. It's shocking, actually, the things that some people are saying. Now, that being said, I'm not a victim, and I am not like crying because I feel bad. I want you to feel bad for me. Absolutely not. I'm doing this by choice. Like, I'm coming here and I'm speaking, and I would never, ever, ever try to back out and be like, why is this happening to me? No. I see why it's happening. It's because I'm speaking, and it's because my show is getting a lot of viewers and listeners. Thank you. Thank you, dosers. But the louder I get and the more people that hear me, they're going to, oh my God, the best comment ever. Not me Googling who is Heather McDonald. See, that's the point. We are too much in a bubble here, y'all. This is a freaking bubble. Because last night I went to back to school night. Shout out Lainey. Lainey at Life is But a Dish, one of my very close friends. She's a food blogger. She's a local mom. Love her. Love her and her husband. My husband loves her. We love each other. We just all love each other. It's just one big love fest. She is not a pop culture girl at all. So I'm sitting there at back to school night, and she's like, Donna, I support you, and I will watch all your stories, but you literally are speaking a different language. And I was like, you don't understand anything I'm talking about. She's like, nothing. I said, Scandival. She goes, what's a Scandival? I said, Bethany. She goes, I think I know who Bethany is. I said, Heather McDonald. Nope. Jeff Lewis. Nope. You guys, the majority of the world don't know, like they don't know who these people are. But for whatever reason, these people, and you guys are like me, right? We're so invested, we're so excited and so into it that sometimes I think we forget like how to separate ourselves. And that's why the passions are rising. And I think that because I'm speaking about it, I'm getting a lot of like, shit on me. Okay. I'm getting a lot of things. I admit, and this is, you guys, for all of you haters that I know are going to listen and probably screenshot, screen record, put it in people's Facebook pages and Reddits and everything. Here's your moment, okay? I admit I'm not perfect. I know I will and have fucked up. Okay, you guys, let me explain to you. On January 4th of this year, I didn't have Daily Dose of Donna. Okay? January 5th of this year, I didn't have Daily Dose of Donna. I'm fucking learning. Sorry to use the curse word so much. I'm learning. And I realized on my Facebook group yesterday, I posted something, and I woke up this morning to see a lot of positive comments and then some real nasty comments in my Facebook group, which feels like my safe little home, right? I shouldn't be so naive to think that. That's okay. I am okay with you disagreeing with me. I've always said this. Disagree all you want, as long as we're kind about it, as long as we're not trying to take people down. Okay? That's just not cool with me. And I don't want, I'm not sitting here trying to be I read some comment that, you're trying to teach us always. Fuck, I'm not your teacher. I'm not your mother. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying, don't do it on my page. Okay. Don't do it on my page. I don't care about what you do wherever else. But anyway, so I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Imagine like the way that your brain works. If you wake up at 5:30 in the morning to see comments calling you out names, like it ain't good, right? In your own Facebook group, which is where I check first. Cause I love my Facebookers. I love my dosers over there. And like I said, 99.5% of you guys are phenomenal and wonderful. And not all of you agree with me. Many times, not all of you agree with me. So it's not all about like some sort of like, you got to be in some sort of a bubble. You shouldn't. That's the echo chamber mentality is where it gets real dangerous, right? So I commented back to all these people this morning, and I'm being very open and transparent because screenshots were taken in this Facebook group by some shady ass Facebook people that take screenshots and post it, elsewhere. I'm sure it will happen. But I'm just explaining. I felt after commenting back and responding, I responded to all the people's comments that were mean, I didn't love, but I responded. I didn't block. I didn't delete. I didn't kick anyone out of the group. But then I sat on it and I looked and I said, you know what? I was being petty. And I deleted the whole thread. And I'll tell you something. I almost was going to write a post saying, guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to delete this because I felt like I was being petty. But then I thought, wait, this is actually good information for the podcast because I think it's important to take accountability. And I think it's important to go and say, like, I messed up, right? Like in life. And so that's what I did. I was going to talk about it here on the show. But one of these people that takes screenshots or whatever started posting on there saying, like, this is hypocritical of you. Now you're deleting. Now you're this and this. Okay. And I will admit, I got very, very upset. Like, I almost didn't record a show today upset. Right. And I appreciate those dosers that are like, saying like, this is not the goal here. Right. The goal here is not to try to take Donna down. I'm not the problem, y'all. Do you understand that all of the stuff that you're seeing out there is happening with or without me involved? If Daily Dose of Donna didn't exist, you guys would still be seeing what was transpiring, right? I didn't like send a message to Jeff Lewis about Heather McDonald. Like, I am not involved, y'all. I am, and I say this really clearly. I'm so on the outside. I'm just like you with a microphone. That's it. I'm just like all of you guys with a microphone. So I'm speaking. That's the only difference. I'm just speaking about it. But I'm not the problem. I'm not. She doesn't know me. We're not friends. I don't owe anyone anything, right? So at the end of the day, I have to protect my peace. And I'm glad I had this like whole shebang moment right now. Is that a word? This personal moment to talk about things before I get into some of today's news. I imagine a lot of you guys are going to, think that this is like, well, whatever. You can think whatever you want. At the end of the day, I can't avoid it. You're going to think it. You're going to not. Just know the Heather McDonald of it all will calm down. I have a little more to say on it in today's show. It's not what entirety of today's show is. It will calm down. It will go away. The second they all stop talking about it, then we have nothing to talk about. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just going off of what's happening. Okay. I just got off the phone with my vet who told me my dog is overweight. In an interesting left turn, on top of feeling like this, I got a call from my vet who said, Donna, Murphy really needs to go on a diet. And I was like, Jesus Christ, here we go. Where's the doggy Ozempic? We really need, I'm just joking. Murphy is overweight. So this is fun. And we're going to have to work on that. Okay. Another thing. I'm so like off today. My cat has diabetes. Don't put the dog on Ozempic. I would never put my dog on Ozempic, you guys. I'm joking. So okay. Crazy stories came out yesterday. Crazy stories. Danny Masterson, Jimmy Fallon, two like very, very, I would say two men. Well, Jimmy has a very, very current, large, obviously career as a late night host. And Danny Masterson, who we know has been on trial. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. Thanks, Molly Dare. I love you. I'm going to tell you guys this. Danny Masterson's trial, I am not a trial reporter and I haven't done a deep dive. Now, I do have a couple dosers who have told me that they have really been studying this case and they're going to send me all the information. All I know is that I was sitting yesterday getting my hair done and we found out this news that he got apparently it's not even 30 years. It's 30 to, it's a life sentence, eligible for parole after 30 years, I believe it is. Is anyone else just absolutely shocked by this? So Danny Masterson was charged with I want to get the exact wording right because this is like a serious conversation. This is not a joking conversation. But Danny Masterson was charged with rape, okay? Raping 2 women in 2000, I want to say 3. It was years ago. In his home. He got the harshest possible sentence of 30 years, 15 for each felony rape conviction. There is a letter. He's married since 2011 to the actress / model Bijou Phillips. They are both very, very famous Scientologists, by the way. This is a part of the story, okay? And dailymail.com obtained the letter. Bijou Phillips sent Danny Masterson a letter claiming that he is a life-saving partner who dedicated himself to farming to support his family when the accusations about him started to emerge and he lost his acting career. She basically is saying she's calling him an amazing father who shielded young actors. I don't get that. But shielded young actors from temptation. Whoa, that is such an odd way to go about this. Y'all, I'm not Leah Remini. I highly recommend that you guys do the deep dive on Scientology if you haven't already. It's bananas. If you're a Scientologist, you probably shouldn't join the Facebook group. Please don't join Daily Dose of Donna Facebook group, guys. I think that if I were you, stick away from that. But Scientology deep diving is amazing. If you guys have any Scientology deep diving shows or movies or books that you think we should go down, like put them in the comments. I'm so interested. So he got 30 years. Well, eligible for parole after 30 years. That's crazy. Okay. It is the largest sentence, I think. I think he got a larger sentence than some people that have like attempted murder. Now, I am not against that. I think he's actually shady from what I've read, but it still is, I can't even imagine what that family is going through right now. Danny is adamant that he did nothing wrong, according to a source, and Bijou believes him. She also is really scared. She doesn't believe he's going to harm himself in jail, but she's worried someone will harm him or even kill him. And the stress that is bringing her is on its own level of stress that she never has felt before. It's a nightmare, the source says, but she will be on his side moving forward and continue to be present for their daughter. Okay, the daughter. I feel bad for that daughter, man. I feel real bad for that daughter. I am, I think it was deserved. I think it's do some research on it. I think that from what I'm reading, from what the Jane Doe and it's Jane Doe, meaning they didn't want their names to be public, but they were on the stand. So it's not like they were hidden or anything. But it sounds like they really have gone through hell and back. And I'm sure they have, because anytime you're messing with Scientology, like right now, I'm scared. Now I'm in it. Daily Mail's in it. We're all in it because we're talking about Scientology. It's scary. Some things that the Jane Doe #1 said, you're a true coward and a heartless monster. I think life is an appropriate sentence. Jane Doe #2 said, you are pathetic, disturbed, and extremely violent, and the world is a safer place with you in prison. These are things they said directly to the actor. Let me try to if I want to read a little bit of Bijou Phillips' full letter to the judge. So she says, I'm writing to ask that you consider this information about, Danny. He's been a life-saving partner to me. At the time, our daughter was just 3 years old. She was our miracle child. I depended on Danny to take care of me. He was devoted to her. He would read her books, take her on walks, et cetera, et cetera. He's always been against drugs, except he just happened to drug these women, apparently. He's helped many people get sober. He's never smoked a joint in his life, apparently, according to Bijou. He helps his daughter with homework. He's watched piano recitals. Okay. This will be a toughie. Well, I think justice was served. That's what I'm going to say about that. Don't you guys think? Do you think justice was served? Okay, let's move on to Jimmy Fallon. Now there is an expose on the Rolling Stone magazine that came out, which is pretty intense, and it essentially says that 16 members of Jimmy Fallon, the what is he? What does he host? The Tonight Show. I was going to say, is it the Late Show or the Tonight Show? Have come out and say that he has a toxic workplace. There's a lot of drinking. Um, he's his erratic behavior has led to people, their hair falling out, like suicidal thoughts, like horrible shit, right? Horrible shit. So, according to the New York Post, he has apologized to his staff on Thursday afternoon. This was yesterday. Obviously, we're in a writer's strike right now, so he hasn't had any, like, no one's employed right now. But he says, if I've ever mistreated anybody or made you feel bad, that was not my goal. I want the show to be fun. It should be inclusive for everybody. It should be funny. It should be the best show, the best people. I just wanted to say I miss you guys. And then NBC, of course, has to stand up for Jimmy and say, we're incredibly proud of the Tonight Show. And providing a respectful working environment is a top priority. It's a little tricky, you guys. These people haven't worked in a couple months. I believe people when they say things like this, especially when you get 16 people. I don't know. I've worked in production, right? I've worked on TV shows before. I've worked in these programs, like whatever programs. I've worked on TV shows in productions and in offices and stuff. And whenever you do stuff like this, you realize that there's a lot of toxicity that happens. There is. And it usually starts at the top, right? It's just like the podcast land. It usually starts at the top. And if you want to set the tone, how do I make this tighter? If you want to set the tone for your audience to, or your office, the people, your employees to be good people, it usually starts at the top. And I've noticed that on a lot of shows when the executive producer or the showrunner of the show is a problem, it really, really trickles down. It trickles. Everyone becomes a little problematic. So I wonder if this is true. I do believe that it may be there's probably a lot of truth to it. I don't know if it's entirely true. A lot of people are saying, well, these guys haven't been working in 2 months. Maybe they're just after the money. I don't know. I would assume that when there's smoke, there's fire. There usually is. We've seen it a million times over. And my guess is that if a lot of people are saying the same thing about you, there is truth in it. Don't you think? Right? Apparently he's a big drinker. I don't know. He had some sort of issue where he went out and like partied and almost lost his ring finger. Who knows? Listen, celebrities, they're just like us, right? Am I right? Or am I right? Ned Ryerson. All right. Going to talk a little bit about Jeff Lewis. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Heather McDonald. And I think we're going to probably be able to wrap it up in a bow today. If we have to talk about it more, it's because something has come up, right? I am just here to share what I have seen has happened in front of my eyes and in my ears since yesterday. So, really fast, I was listening to a portion of my show. I don't usually listen to my show because I'm a tough critic on myself, but I was listening to a portion of it when I was driving to, Carl and Lindsay, we'll talk about that too. When I was driving to, where was I going? Back to school night. I was driving to back to school night and I was listening and I was like, geez, I take a lot of pauses. So I apologize to you audio listeners. I will try to keep it going faster. I think when you're watching live and when you're watching the video, the pauses make more sense because I'm doing a lot of facial. I'm a physical podcaster. I make a lot of facial reactions to everything. So I will try to be a little bit more aware of that. Jeff Lewis yesterday, as of yesterday, we had talked about the fact that Heather had released her free podcast and she spoke about the earrings. And then I said on my show yesterday, let's not forget that this really started with the Justin Martindale and Heather McDonald situation. This morning, Heather released a Patreon episode. I will say that Heather's approach to her Patreon was much better than what I've heard on the public shows. What she said, and I'm not going to paraphrase because I want you to go and support her. I want you to go and pay the money to Heather. I'm sure if you guys really want to hear this, you will, because I am not here to take away anyone's livelihood ever. Do you hear me? I'm not. But Heather said, I'm sorry about the earrings. But I didn't know. I didn't know that they were expensive. So that's what she said about the earrings. She mentioned how it's been a hard week for her. I liked that. You guys, I liked that she said that she has had a hard week and this has been a struggle. Timothy felt differently. But I want to know from you guys what you think. I think when you show vulnerability and humility, which I did think she showed more of today, I do think that she gave us a little bit more of an insight into her reaction to this week, which has been, it's very hard and it's been a hard struggle. I truly believe that it does immediately lower everyone's right? When you can show a little vulnerability and show that you're human and that you're struggling through everything, I think I took that moment. I was like, okay, I like that she said that. I like that she was explaining how hard this has been for her. I don't believe, and never did I ever say on any of these shows that this hasn't been hard for her. I'm sure it's hard for her. She's a human being. It can't feel good to have your friend of so many years go on his very, very popular radio show and drag you the way Jeff Lewis did this week. I don't think it felt good. I don't think it worked. It made her feel good at all. Okay. So I do believe that two things can be true. She definitely is not mentioning Justin Martindale really, other than the fact that she said, I wish he would have come to me and talked to me more about his feelings, but I've heard different stories when I heard his side. So I don't know. It's probably somewhere in the middle. She mentioned that she wishes she would have heard more about how she was upsetting all these other people before they aired it publicly. But I do believe that from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I do believe that a lot of these people have come out and talked to her about it. Like, from what I know, Krista, and she told me directly this, and she's told, and we heard it on Jeff, but she's reached out to Heather multiple times about it. She's asked her now a while about it, and only when Jeff mentioned it was she able to get that check. So I do think that there almost had to be this public bringing light to it for Heather to realize there was an issue, because I don't believe she was actually hearing that there was issues. But that doesn't mean that they weren't saying that there was issues. Does that make sense? But again, none of us were there, right? I wasn't there. You weren't there. Heather was there. Justin was there. Jeff was there. Krista was there. Megan was there. Those are the people that are involved. And maybe a couple people saw a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, none of us know anything, right? And okay. I kind of she talked a little bit more about how this has happened before to her and it will happen again. That people like to go after her for a lot of her behavior. I'm not going to therapize it. Okay. I'm not a therapist. I've learned my lesson here that I can't get too deep, sadly, into this stuff, because I become the enemy, and I'm not, my goal here is not to be the enemy. I'm just breaking it down for you guys. So, I still think that there's a lot that was not mentioned in terms of friendships and, mainly the Justin stuff. I think that stuff whatever. But you know what, at the end of the day, you can't expect, a, a, a coffee cup to become a glass of wine. People aren't going to change. If people are people, they're not going to change unless they want to change, right? We can all have our assumptions about who we want Jeff to be, who we want Heather to be, who we want any of these people to be. Do we want them to be nicer, smarter, more accepting, more tolerant, more calm, we can want everything we want. At the end of the day, they are who they are, right? We have to accept people for who they are. And so that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to accept her for who she is. She then went in to talk about reality shows. I think the goal for Heather is to move on. And I understand why she would want to. I really do. Yeah, there's a lot more I can say, but I'm going to choose in today's moment to not. I'm not going to. I'm going to protect my peace. Now, Jeff Lewis had one of their mutual friends, Jill Zarin, on Jeff Lewis's show, and there was a mention of Heather, more in the fact that like it was a joke that Gary made, actually, Jill's boyfriend, about Bossy, who was the dog, taking a juicy poop. I'm sorry. Gary, I like Jill Zarin. I don't know what it is about Jill Zarin. She reminds me of like my aunt from like New York. I don't know. She is so funny. But she was like, Gary, we weren't going to do that. We weren't going to say that. And then they kept saying like, let's not talk about Heather. Let's not talk about Heather, you know? They didn't really talk about Heather. Unless I missed something, they didn't really like go deep about Heather. It felt like a very light show. Jill said that she came out to Los Angeles just to be on Jeff's show. She said Jeff has been, both she and Gary said Jeff has been incredible to them and an incredible business partner to them because he promotes the crap out of them. And he really does. He promotes all of his guests. We know that. We've talked about that before. I thought it was pretty funny. And very light. And I laugh. I like laughing when I listen to Jeff Lewis. I mean, I laugh a lot listening to that show. Like there was an episode yesterday with Megan and Pej Vedat. And when I tell you, they were doing like your horoscope and like what you enjoy sexually with your horoscope. And I was at Ralph's, like shopping for cottage cheese, like laughing out loud. I mean, sometimes that show is so funny. So maybe things will just calm down now, right? And we're just going to have to go on to the next thing. Just a quick note about Carl and Lindsay, and then we're going to wrap up Friday's show because I've got some stuff going on today. But Carl and Lindsay, from what we know, the rumors are swirling. Carl is right now on Scandival level. People are starting to think, oh my God, did Carl have an affair? Did he really screw his guests out of this? What I've heard is that the wedding has not officially been called off and the hotel has not been officially canceled for the wedding. Like everything is still there, but I don't believe they're together and I don't believe the wedding is going to happen. I also think that Lindsay left her house. We haven't seen her in days. She looks phenomenal. This is what these girls do, you guys. When you get broken up with publicly and you go through this like horrible thing on a Bravo show, what you do is you show up at a wedding in a different country or in a different state looking like smoking. And Ariana did it and it worked for her. So let's see what happens with Lindsay. I mean, she looked amazing. I am dying for this season to come out. Like, I need to know. I want to know what is going on. And I really hope. Oh, Captain Lee said the wedding is called off. Did he say it on his podcast? I saw Captain Lee has a podcast. Salty. Let's get salty with Captain Lee. I want to get salty with Captain Lee. Shout out Captain Lee. So anyway, I'm dying to see how it all plays out. Obviously, we're going to learn more because we always do. You guys, we always find out more. And then that being said, Southern Charm has released a bunch of new like teasers from their show and it looks really good. Paige and Craig are sitting there talking about moving to Charleston. He's dying. He's dying to put a ring on it. He wants to marry her. He wants her to become a housewife in Charleston and she ain't having it. You guys, what are your real thoughts? I don't believe Paige wants to end up with Craig. I don't believe it. Like, I know she loves him, but I actually don't know if that is ever going to work. I can't wait, you guys. I just need to lighten some up. I appreciate all the new dosers here this week. We will get through this as we always have. Thank you for sticking with me through my emotions. I'm just human, but I do say I'm sorry and I do recognize where I go wrong. That's one thing you will always hear from me. I am not perfect. I never will be. And if you call me out and I'm wrong, I will apologize. Doesn't mean my feelings won't get hurt. All right, you guys, love you. Thank you so much, dosers. Have an amazing weekend. And I really hope I can see you guys tonight at the happy hour. Like I said, the link will be below in the show notes. And we can meet face to face and have a glass of wine, a much needed glass of wine or cocktail or Gatorade or Faux or Vina CBD happy place, whatever it is you guys drink. I'll see you guys tonight. Bye.